Hello and welcome to the shop. Once again, my name is Mike, and this is Props to History. Now to get this out of the way, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, and hit the little notification bell down there in the corner. Help support the channel. My name is Michael Corey. I am a prop maker, model maker, and historian. I have been following the stories of props and special effects technicians and artists for about the last 10 years. I'm also a professional in the industry, having worked in theater independent film for about 10 years and major film and television for the last 2. I created this series here and originally on TikTok to tell the stories of the folks behind the scenes. And when I say behind the scenes, I mean truly behind the scenes. Writers, directors, the people that work lighting and camera operators, they all help make films what they are. But prop makers and special effects technicians literally make the magic. And I want to tell their stories just as much as everyone else's stories. I often get asked, what is a prop? And while there tends to be a specific definition to that, it can be a bit of a gray area. Now, when I say gray area, what I mean is that these 3 objects in front of me, and the dingus, truth be told, they can be multiple of different things. You can have either prop, set, or wardrobe. Now, what makes it a prop? Well, if an actor actually picks up an item and uses it to tell the story in some way, if they manipulate it, it's a prop. If it sits on a table, it's set deck. But like this, if the actor carries it, it's a prop. If they wear it, it's wardrobe. Same with this. If it's sitting on a table or in a box, it's set. But if they're carrying it, then it becomes a prop. So it's ultimately defined by how an actor handles it. If they are directly involved with it, if they're manipulating it, using it to tell the story, it's a prop. Otherwise, it's either wardrobe or it's set, much in the same way that a hat or a helmet can be all 3. But where does Hollywood get these from? Where do they acquire them? Well, a lot of times they come from a thing called a prop house. Well, what the hell is a prop house? I'm here at Global Effects in Los Angeles, California, a custom prop rental and fabrication shop who, among other things, makes items from real space exploration, like this LEM interior, which was built for Apollo 18 and then used in First Man. It's not the only thing that they make. I am here with Chris Gilman of Global Effects. Chris, thank you for having us here.
Sure, pleasure.
How did Global Effects get started?
Ignorance and stupidity on my part. My mother was a librarian, so long before the internet, I basically had my own Google.
Right.
If I needed a book on something, and my dad would be the kind that would say, hey, I don't know how to do that. Let's ask your mom for a book, we'll learn together. Their hobby was auto racing. So a lot of the people that we hung out with were engine mechanics, chassis builders, body guys, paint guys. And so I learned to scrimshaw when I was like 12, to heliarc weld, all these things when I was very young. Well, my dad's business went from 40 employees down to 8 when the Apollo space program ended. And I remember reading in school that during the Great Depression, people still went to the movies. And I thought, maybe the film industry. Worked for a first for hand prop room, was my first job. Got fired for being a flake. Wasn't available on weekends, and then worked for Ellis Mercantile, which was one of the oldest prop companies in Los Angeles. Started a shop over at ISS when they were on Wix, long before they are the monster they are today. And then I went back at hand prop room and decided in '86, I think I'm done with this. I want to go start my own company. I ran the company when we first started. It still was the Dwarves. It was in my brother's garage. And then we got a big job doing a futuristic robot, which I was very proud of. It was for a magician. It's actually a television producer. Now we changed, when we did Bram Stoker's Dracula, we changed to Global Effects.
Global Effects has created special effects and costuming for films such as Star Trek First Contact, Sphere, Soldier, Space Cowboys, Sequest DSV, The Rocketeer, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Predator, several of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, Outbreak. The list goes on and on. They've been involved in the film industry for quite some time, and the work they do is extremely impressive.
So this is one of the film cameras that was made for Apollo 13. And this is one that we made more recently for, I think, Apollo 18.
Okay.
And then one more recently, even still, this is a copy of one that was used on the shuttle on a Hubble mission. This was for another project. Called communication caps, or known as Snoopy caps. Here's another thing you don't think about: set dressing pictures. So when you see an office with a whole bunch of astronaut pictures, well, where do they come from?
This shelf.
They rent it from us. Yeah. This is actually a replica of the first commercial helmet. And so this helmet originally was built as a functional pressure helmet. Well, when we were doing Ad Astra, they wanted a futuristic helmet, and I said, hey,
We've got one.
we've got one, and it could be something that kind of fits into that mythos of the future of this was a real company that was doing commercial space gear. Originally, Brad Pitt was going to wear a copy of this S1030 helmet, which the Air Force uses in the SR-71 as the helmet at the beginning where he's wearing the orange suit and he jumps off the tower. But they liked the way it looks so much that they decided to keep this helmet for the entire film for him. So this is one of Brad's helmets.
So Brad Pitt in Ad Astra is actually wearing a helmet worn by SR-71 crews.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
And then this was
My favorite piece here.
some
truth be
other
told.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was only one season, I think. What was Firefly?
Firefly.
Firefly. That's what it was.
Yeah, and then they did use it in Serenity.
Yeah. And you do brilliant work on spacesuits, and a lot of that came because you have an aerospace background, don't you?
Most of the stuff in this business is tribal. You get sort of a set way of doing stuff, and everybody does it kind of that way. But having grown up around a dad who owned an aerospace company that did welding machining for on the Apollo space program and on the shuttle program and for submarines and all sorts of stuff, I learned a lot of techniques outside the realm of the things that you normally learn as a kid.
Right.
As we started getting into the specialty costume, we started realizing that, we can guide these costumers to other techniques that aren't typical makeup or typical props. Plus, prop makers don't often think about the fact you got to wear it.
Right.
What we've tried over the years is try to use different materials to make things lighter, make things more comfortable, make things in and out fast. And over the years, we've gotten the reputation for doing specialty costume. So the other thing that we get asked about a lot is robots, and we've done a few over the years. This was originally done for a film called Jun Wai Cops. It was a Hong Kong action picture. We had built this puppet, was cable controlled, rod controlled, had RC head and RC eyes. And then we had a wearable suit, and then we modified this wearable suit into a blue colored suit for the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, where I played Protocop for all of about 13 seconds. But then we also built this silver robot and this green one, which is currently split in half, for Japanese heavy industries commercial. I think they were CNC equipment or something that they built. And then this has been now used in Big Brother as Zingbot. I don't always know what we have, or what's going out or what we're working on. And so when the movie poster for Argo came out, I saw a robot, and of course the first thing I noticed was the helmet was unclipped, and it freaked me out. And I didn't know we were using this for that. I had no idea what the movie was about. And I talked to the rental department. They, we didn't know what the movie was either. So we see that often where, I'll be watching a show and see something.
All of a sudden, there's your stuff. Yep. See that? It's pretty small, isn't it? But that is the One Ring. This is actually a replica of the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. It's very, very tiny from as far away as you are. Now, how did they film something like that in the Lord of the Rings being as small as it was? Well, they had what was called an oversized or upsized prop. And in fact, in a lot of the scenes where you see the ring up close, it's actually about that big. That's how those shots are done. They make a prop much larger than it needs to be so that the detail can be seen close up on camera, because you're not going to get a camera to focus on that really well in a film. So they make these oversized models. Another example of this is this coin. Now this is an oversized example of Two-Face's coin when he flips the coin in the air. This is the size of coin that they filmed so that they could see the detail, because the coin itself was very, very small. But that's how that's done.
So, as an example with the shuttle suit, the real EMUs, called an EMU, has 19,000 parts. You're probably looking at somewhere in the $10 to $20 million to develop, because it is a personal spacecraft.
Yeah, it's so hyper complex, yeah.
Our suit has about 1,200 parts versus 19,000.
That's still not a small amount of parts.
And almost all of them are made.
Yeah.
These cost about $150,000 to replicate. Now, the material is the real fabric. It's called ortho fabric. They don't make it anymore because the shuttle's not flying, and it was used in many parts of the shuttle as well as the suits.
Right.
It's about $200 a yard. So, at $150,000 or $120,000, I tell people that for 1% the cost, you get 99% the look. Because 99% of the look on the outside is what you're getting. The Family Channel was doing a movie about Apollo 11, and they needed spacesuits. Well, they only made 3 spacesuits for Apollo 13. One of them was in the Reagan Library, one of them was at Universal, and the other one was on a tour, promotional tour. So you weren't going to use those for the movie. So they sent us one, and that's when we found some of these real artifacts in the suit. And I tried to call the Cosmosphere and let them know that, and they were like, oh yeah, well, we know that, you know, our replicas are so good. I go, excuse me, I grew up in the aerospace business. You don't make movie props out of Inconel high temperature stainless, and you don't put serial numbers on them where you can't see them.
Right.
You know. But anyway, so we got started making spacesuits, and actually the ones we did for that Family Channel were better than the ones for Apollo 13.
Oh wow.
Because we were able to take what they had done with additional research and make them one step better. Then we got to do Earth to the Moon for HBO, and some of the suits we have here, some of the hardware on these suits are actually all the way back to that, all the way back to that Family Channel. Well, probably a Family Channel, but certainly Earth to the Moon. On the thing of details that nobody, you know, on the average notices.
Right.
I often get asked, you know, why do you do some of those details? Well, there certainly is a side-by-side comparison that you can say, well, this looks more realistic than this does, you know. But the best of that was we were on set with Clint Eastwood for Space Cowboys. We're in the cockpit of the shuttle simulator with Clint Eastwood, Donald Sutherland, Jim Garner, and an astronaut from the shuttle program.
Right.
And he's talking about the ACES suits and what you do on a pre-flight and what you have to go through to get into the thing. And he goes, now normally, in that pocket on your leg there, we have, and I said, oh, hold on. Unzipped it, and I said the fitting in the cool suit connector, and he goes, yeah, exactly that. Oh yeah, that looks exactly like it. Yeah, okay, so you take those 2 fittings, and you plug your cool suit in. Of course, your cool suit's plugged into the inside. I said, yeah, they have them on the inside. And after this whole thing was over, the astronaut came up to me and goes, that's pretty incredible. Why do you bother putting that in the pocket? Because you can't see it.
Yeah.
And I said, just for those moments, just then.
Don't forget to check all the links down below. Thank you for watching. This has been Props to History. Spaceballs the Lunchbox. That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
See, I haven't actually played with the suit, but
Clearly I am.